Well, Adidas confirmed that they will be selling Yeezys without the Yeezy branding because they own all the copyrights and trademarks and everything.
What's Drake's lyric in the Broke Boy song? What did 21 say? Something about the stripes, like Adidas. And Drake said, F Adidas.
Yeah, I think at a broader point here, I think that being being loyal to a company makes sense if the company has done something for you, but brand loyalty to companies and brands that don't know you, and even if they do know you, haven't done anything for you, like there's nothing fly about being like, I got all these Nikes, I got all these Adidas, I got all this.
Yeah.
Brand loyalty is really dumb because they don't know you, they don't care about you, and it's also just weird. It's just clothes at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's just weird. So like, I don't know, repping. Oh, I got all my Adidas.
Adidas,
It's
Nike.
it's like okay, they sitting around playing around with y'all money, playing around with y'all billions of dollars. Made Phil Knight one of the richest people in all of human history. But yeah, and this is just another example of why, or you
Feel nice op.
you bit yeah, because Jordan should have more. Jordan made
George
Nike.
had more, and he's talked about Kyrie, like talked crazy. So.
Yeah, so for me personally, Nike, Adidas, any of these brands, nobody's gonna pay me to wear their brand. Like even if I was in fashion or like something like that, no, I'm not doing no.
Yeah, like the brand deals,
yeah,
and like you can't wear nothing else. Like you're just repping them like a slave.
I'm
Like Drake, no offense, he do be sounding corny. Like oh, checks over stripe. They like tap dancing, checks over stripe. Meanwhile, Phil Knight is like,
yeah. So
good little mixed Negro.
Shouting out brands for no reason to me is like weird, especially if you're not getting paid. If you're getting paid, maybe I could kind of understand it in a way, but at the end of the day, as a normal civilian human that does not have an endorsement deal,
yeah,
repping I only wear Nike, or only wear Adidas, that brand loyalty thing is stupid. And this is why, and this is gonna turn into a black thing, but being loyal to any company that can drop you at any point. To me is like, I don't know, right? Like,
yeah. Kanye made them popular.
because the thing is, they'll use and abuse you to get what they want out of the deal. For example, I think it was the Kyrie 8 or it might have been the Kyrie 7, one of those shoes. He had no input in terms of the design, colorways, or anything, but they're still profiting, and he is too, of course. But they didn't take into account any of his creative wishes with the way the shoe looks or how the colors are to the point where he didn't even wear it. But they want to use his name to sell shoes. Doing business with anybody that operates that way, obviously that was the same reason why Kanye left them in the first place. And yeah, it's their brand and they have the money and the infrastructure. But in my opinion, if it's a partnership, then that's not the way you do business.
Yeah. Like, they were dropping colors like that he didn't approve. Like, can you imagine that? Like, you feel like I didn't want this shoe in pink. Like, I would be pissed.
Yeah, so like
I didn't want this shoe in purple and blue.
So I only have one pair. Well, I have two pairs of Nikes, but in general, I don't care about these. I don't care about these brands. Like, I'm not buying a brand because it's Nike, because it's this, because it's that. For me, I care about design, and that's the most important thing. But I'm not going to support brands that are disrespecting, use you until they feel like they don't need you anymore, and then dismiss you while they get to reap all the profits as if they don't need that person to sell the shoes in the first place. Yeah. Like, it's dumb. So to me, ain't no support for Nike, ain't no support for Adidas, and really no support for any brand. Like, I'm not gonna be out repping anything.
Yeah, like I'll wear it, but it's not like I'm over the whole trying to tag them to get their attention. Like whatever.
I got this on. I got you're gonna see me in my this. I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not putting logos. I'm not a billboard. I'm not gonna be walking around with somebody else's name.
A shirt that says Nike on it. No.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
All these brands are weird. All these people are weird. Like, I just really wish that black people were at the top. Like, it would be so funny if we could get play reverse Uno on the world.
Yeah.
I would fire everybody who's white, but not black.
You see, they used them.
Yep.
Responsible for the only reason why they're probably still in business at this point.
Yeah, people are like, Run DMC, Adidas was popular. People, I'm like, yeah, no one's saying that Adidas didn't have cultural significance, of course, but like, stop acting like they was all, like
nobody's
really,
buying Adidas now because of Run DMC.
Yeah, like people are so stupid. Like they want, like, no one cares that your grandpa buys Adidas. Like we're talking about the culture, the youth. Like Kanye was responsible for that. Like don't, like, let's stop. Let's act like, yeah, people was wearing the striped tracksuit in high school. Okay, yeah, but that was it. No, honestly, nobody wearing no Adidas shoes. Like people wore the superstars, but the only reason, like you said, Adidas. The only reason people even probably wore the superstars, it probably had to do with a little bit of Kanye giving the brand some youthful resurgence. Like young people wasn't really wearing them like that. Like you have all these like older people who are like, you guys must not know Adidas if you think Kanye is responsible. Like nobody cares that you were 45 wearing Adidas. Like we're talking about the youth. Like Kanye is responsible. Like the second he put on those what are those shoes that he was wearing?
The Ultra Boost.
The Ultra Boost. And then started his line. It was a wrap. Like, and we witnessed it. Like it's funny people trying to tell you something, but when you actually witnessed it, like we were on a college campus, so we saw like that immediate impact from the age they were 18 to 21 range. Like we saw it. Everybody was wearing Ultra Boost, NMDs. I remember I had my NMDs. Everybody was sweating my NMDs on campus, my all white NMDs, because like, but it looked cool. It was like, oh, NMDs, Ultra Boost. Like everybody was wearing, when they got their Yeezys, everybody was like gassed. Like then the Calabasas, Adidas pants, the red stripes. Everybody was starting to wear those. Like let's stop. Let's stop acting like the brand was really all that among young people. Like it was just Nike for the longest.
No. For sure.
And Kanye's probably linked to Adidas making billions.
No, yeah, definitely.
Billions.
Yeah. So
and even indirect sales, like with the Ultra Boost. Because everybody was walking around trying to be like him with the sweatpants and the Ultra Boost.
Yeah, I got the last pair of Ultra Boost.
Yeah, I remember you had them.
From Finish Line, I think, in Bridgewater Mall or something.
That was a time, honestly. That like and then he came out with the Fat song. Yeah.
But
like we was there. We are the culture. Like don't try to tell us otherwise. We witnessed the Adidas resurgence among young people and the people who actually who make things cool. Young black people was what sways trends. Like let's not. I was getting so mad seeing the tweets from like 40 and 50-year-old people. Run DMC. Them niggas is 80 years old. Nobody's checking for their. I'm not saying that they didn't have an impact. They did, but that was in the 90s, 2022. 80s, 90s.
But yeah. So for those of you that don't know, since we're 20 minutes into a topic without saying really,
it has not been 20 minutes.
They are planning to sell them without Yeezy on the box, without Yeezy on the soles, whatever. But it'll be the exact same model. So obviously not purchasing any sort of Adidas products ever again. Not that I wore them anyway. Last Adidas product I have, I probably sold maybe 3-4 years ago, which were a pair of Yeezys anyway. But yeah, we're not doing that because in general, even if they did this to somebody else, like you can't take billions of dollars that you've accumulated and then because if it's cancel him, because it's not like he didn't have any input into the design or the colorways of the shoes. Like we're not going to do that. Like that process he was a part of the whole time.
And his name was attached to it at one point.
So you're not going to steal the design and the colorways and everything and then dismiss him. And then whether you're paying him or not, still, if you strip the branding off of it and he's still getting paid, which I assume he would be, I don't care. Like we're not doing they're not fake necessarily because Adidas is still selling them, but it's fake.
We're not calling them fake.
We're not supporting that shit.
Yeah,
because that's crazy.
My fear is though people are saying they're not going to, but there's gonna be people because there's no way to confirm unless you take the shoe off. And even if you do, some people's Yeezy logo dispersed. Is there anything actually on the shoe, like on the sole?
There is. If you look really closely, there's there's branding, but. Okay.
But people are going to do it because there's no way you can really check anybody like if you just glance. So there's going to be people who be like, well, I'm going to get mine still.
Of course, but not.
Which is unfortunate.
we ain't do it. Well, they at least won't get $1 out of me.
Yeah.
So
I just
that's
wish
the
our
most.
people would have his back. Like that would be the biggest display to Adidas. Like we not buying these shits. That would be the biggest thing if we were able to stop it. But even if black people stop it, white people are still gonna buy the shoe.
Of course, they're still gonna sell out. They're still gonna do what it is. But it's just another reason why you don't. It's almost like the way I feel about it is the same way people be like, don't put your trust in the people in relationships because they're always going to hurt you. I feel like it's the same thing when it comes to companies because the second they feel like they've got what they want out of you, then they just dismiss you. Just like record labels. I've seen it. Actually, I'm not going to say that because I don't want it to be on record, but I've seen it happen to people in corporate.
Yeah, it could happen. In corporate, yeah.
You know, the second they got what they wanted out of you, they're just going to dismiss you like you're nothing. So in my opinion, you got to treat them in the same way and treat them like they're nothing. The one thing I will say about the luxury or high-end brands that I personally am fond of is that, like, business-wise, revenue-wise, they're not big companies. They're not a Louis Vuitton. They're not, what else? Like, they're not a Gucci. They don't make a ton of money. So it's still, like, sought after, but they're not huge, massive companies pulling in all this money like Adidas and Nike. So I at least feel like they have different perspectives. They're not motivated by certain things. I don't feel like they would do people dirty. And realistically, I think that they're more supportive of the culture. It seems like even more so than the athletic companies like Nike and Adidas or Reebok or whatever.
Yeah.
So fuck all them. I don't like anybody's products that much to the point where I can't drop them in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would be great if other people felt the same way.
I know.
And won't see me, won't see a child of mine, won't see nobody wearing Nikes or Adidas.
Yeah.
Only reason I don't have the off-white ones on GOAT right now for sale is just because Virgil.
Yeah, no, it's Virgil.
Had them.
Yeah.
You know, had the influence, of course.
That's the thing too. Most of my, well, not most.
But if not, I would sell those things in a heartbeat.
I mean, I have 8 pairs of Nikes. Dang. I have 3 pairs of 4s. And I have 3 1s. 1 being the Virgil collab, so that's 6. And then I have the Travis AF ones. I haven't worn those in forever. Those look like the best. And then I have my Prestos. I just feel like that's it. Besides the Nikes I have in the front closet, my Air Maxes, and I have 2 pairs of Air Maxes. Dang, I look at like what 10? That's 10 pairs.
And the thing is, they got their money already, so
yeah,
you're not really showing them anything.
That's the thing. I'm not supporting them going forward. Like what I have is what I want to have.
But at the same time, wearing them is a symbol of support.
It is, but it sucks. So the shoes are still fire. And the thing is though, like the Nikes that I do have besides the Air Maxes that I don't even wear are Jordans. So it's like, and the Prestos are not, but it's like and the Air ones. But I don't really wear the Air Force ones either. But the 6, my 3 4s and my 3 1s, there's Jordan. So even though it's still Nike, like I just see that as like this is still Jordan. Like we're not gonna try to diminish the black man's impact, especially Virgil. Like their impact on the culture in their shoe. Like that's still their babies, and like that's what I see it as. Like everything else, yeah, we're not supporting that. But I think my Jordans are safe because that's like I just see it as these. This was Virgil and Jordan's babies. Like
I have my own thoughts about Jordan.
Jordan's a little shiesty too. He's a little mixy.
But he deserves half of Nike.
He does. Because he's responsible for it being popular too. Because the reason why people even wear Nikes, the reason why people gave money for the Dunks is because of Jordan. Like, if we want to be honest. Because it's just a way for people to get that look for the cheap or just because they couldn't get the ones that they wanted, Because realistically, that's why Dunks got popular in the last 2 years.
And the creator of the Nike logo should have gotten more money.
Yeah, that's like a internationally known symbol.
Now, I know people's opinion is we only care about the logo because of what the brand did. It's not like the logo made the brand, but I'm a person where, and I've said this about my music too, right? Like, if anybody's giving me any input that was significant to my success, or they gave me an idea for, you should probably do this, and then I implement it, or whatever it is. For me, I'm a generous person that would pay those things back. Phil Knight is worth. Let's go look up what he's worth. And obviously, everybody, I know how net worth works. These are all estimates based on publicly available information. It could be a lot higher. It could be a lot lower. I know how net worth works. But based on what the internet says, we could just use it as a general gauge. Because we do know how much stock he owns in Nike, and that's going to be the most significant part of his wealth. Let's see. He is worth an estimated $39.6 billion and the 27th richest person in the world. Me personally.
Whoa.
How much do you think well, I was going to say young lady, but obviously she's an older woman now. How much do you think she got paid for that logo?
At the time?
Mm-hmm.
$50,000.
$35.
$35. I would be pissed. I mean, that's the thing. People always be like, "Well, she knew what she was doing back then. She should have signed the contract." But it's like, as a company, I think you should do your due diligence. Like, I would feel sick to my stomach as an owner, knowing that the person who created the most my worldwide, internationally known symbol. Like, I'm sure if you look it up, Nike is probably one of the world's most recognizable like logos. Like, there's like a list of things that like everybody recognizes. I'm sure it's up there.
I know people.
I would want to give her money.
I know people that are familiar with her story are probably itching right now.
That's sick.
At the fact that yeah, but he gave her stock options. Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah, but still, like, how
much do you think the stock options were once they appealed?
That she got?
Well, at this point, what do you think that they're worth?
Maybe like a couple 6 figures.
They're worth $1 million at this point because she's never cashed them out.
I was gonna say maybe like $1 million. But
now,
still, come on.
$39.6 billion, and I'm not gonna be here one of those people spending other wealthy people's money, but I'm just saying about what I personally would do with $39.6 billion, because as much as the brand is what made the logo important, the logo has also very significantly made the brand a lot of money because it's recognizable, it's easily applicable. You could put it on apparel, you could put it on a billboard really easily. It's all over the place. You could put it easily on somebody's jersey. It's not obnoxious. You don't even have to put the Nike and IKE words on it for people to recognize what it is.
Even the Nike text, right? Like, do they say Nike on it?
They do.
Oh yeah, they do.
But they're technically, that's like technically I think it's a newer logo where it's a combination of Nike and the swoosh is considered one logo. But me personally, I just know if I had $39.6 billion, I would have personally kicked back more than $1 million.
Sure.
And we also don't know these people personally, and who knows what they've done.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
So I'm not gonna judge him like that. But what is publicly available information is how much Jordan's worth, which is a lot less than
not even
Phil
$1 billion.
Knight. No, it's $1 billion.
Oh.
Because it's just not as many billions as it should be. It's 1.7. Now, for me personally, somebody that is responsible largely for, and Nike had the infrastructure, they had the shoe, their designers were hired by Nike, they weren't hired by Jordan.
But they would not be who they are today.
So me personally,
without Jordan,
I would,
because without Jordan,
what did they have?
I'm so nasally. Sorry. Without Jordan, you don't have Virgil. You don't have a lot of significant, like, you don't even have a lot of like these athletic collabs. You probably don't have them at all. Like, I mean, they were doing that. That's the whole reason why Jordan even got with Nike, and like, Adidas obviously had their collabs, but without Jordan, you definitely don't have Virgil. You definitely don't have a lot of, like, not saying Virgil. I'm talking about Virgil's impact onto Nike. Like, you don't have all that income.
Yeah, you don't have the LeBron James shoes.
Yeah.
You don't have,
like,
in my opinion, you don't have like any of those things. You don't have the sneaker community as a whole would cease to exist realistically, because
that's where it started.
They were wearing Converses to play basketball, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Before Jordan showed up.
Crazy to me.
So the whole sneaker culture in general, like you didn't really have many of these other sneaker companies until, later down the line.
And being a sneakerhead started from the Jordans, from Nike. Like realistically, I think that I would give that the credit for sneakerhead culture.
So realistically, Jordan has made the world hundreds of billions of dollars, if not trillions.
Yeah, honestly.
Probably not trillions, but definitely hundreds of billions.
Definitely hundreds.
Clearly, because Phil Knight's worth 40, so that means that Nike itself is probably worth. Probably, if I had to guess, how much would Nike be worth? Probably like 60. Let's see.
How much of Nike's income?
God, 165 billion.
Wow.
How much of Nike's income comes from Jordan?
Yeah.
Not that much.
Well, yeah, a lot of their income probably comes from collab deals, like clothing.
They own the MLB contracts. Yeah. They own
the uniforms. Yeah,
they own everything. They own track. They own,
which makes sense. But that's the thing, though. You could say the only reason they could even do that is because maybe the impact of Jordan.
Of course, because they didn't have that before. Yeah. Obviously, so
before Adidas was the it company for athletes.
Tiger Woods as well is another big factor. Wow, we could put in.
Yeah.
Nadal, Federer.
Yeah, but say
Serena. You could throw in a bunch of other athletes in there, but obviously the people, they were able to get those deals because of Jordan.
Because of Jordan, that's where it started. Because everybody wants Nikes now. Everybody wants to be a part of that because of Jordans and the popularity behind Jordans.
Yeah, but long story short, that's why I don't put too much support into these brands because they'll just turn their back on you.
They don't care.
They don't care. They just care about the money.
And
they're just business.
Sad.
They're business people at the end of the day. But that's what happens when people that don't look like you aren't in those places.
Like I pray in our lifetime that we see more of our people in control and in power, because it's like realistically, like people will say whatever they feel about me saying that, but realistically, if you have like a group of people who are running things culturally, like it just seems like the fair thing, because it's like it is crazy. Like we as Black people contribute so much, like trillions to the market, as far as our value as a people, like so many people have become famous off of our trends, like you take Charli D'Amelio, she's a millionaire, and the basis of her fame was a song that Renegade, a tag from a Black man. K-Camp, a song by a Black man, it was his song. And the Renegade Dance, made by a 14-year-old Black girl. It's like we're responsible for so much of like so many people's income. And it's like, dang, if we only had the power combined with that, because it just puts us at a fault. It puts us still in this like form of slavery almost, like we're being used still for now our entertainment value as opposed to our value of cotton. Now
to broaden that and not to take it outside of just the importance of Black people and Black creativity in general, these brands are like this anyway with other people as well. Like there's a conversation about this with companies like Twitch and YouTube as well, where these companies are picking and choose, even TikTok, like companies pick and choose who they want to support and who they don't want to support.
Yeah.
And they feel like if you're popular on that particular platform that you won't leave. And for the most part, that's true. Like it's tough to tell somebody to give up their whole income base and their means of taking care of themselves to leave to either seek better opportunity or leave just to prove a point. But they do this as well. Like I've told you before with Twitch and Kai. It's like you have the number one streamer here, and it's like, regardless of what you say about his content is for younger kids, but also more so our audience. He's a Black kid from the Bronx. Like, he makes certain type of content. So I understand why Twitch wouldn't necessarily want to promote certain things, but at the same time, it's like,
it's like,
where's the...
Yeah, it's like weird, because it's like just because you feel that way doesn't mean that the person still shouldn't get their praise for it. They're still bringing you money. They're still bringing you downloads, like despite whether you think their content is brand friendly, they're brand friendly enough to make you money. That money don't make you think twice, does it?
Realistically, low key.
Same with YouTube. And Susan Wojcik, whatever her name is.
To me, if I was, Mr. B, he spends so much money on the content that I don't know how much money he actually has, but
I know.
Assuming he has a significant amount of money, hopefully he does.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not putting all of his money back into stuff. Because I was watching a video earlier. He was talking about the times he's giving away islands to people, and I was like, all right, he's getting too much.
Yeah, because he needs to make sure he's good. But if the world goes to shit,
he getting too much money. He was saying that you could get really trash islands for like $800,000 as opposed to buying the good ones for like 10 million. And he said he would spend like $2 million to fix them up, import sand and plant trees to make the island.
Crazy.
So you're giving somebody an island for $2 million as opposed to 10 million. So if you were gonna spend the 10 million, you could do 5 islands instead of just the one.
Yeah.
But anyway, somebody like that has the capital to, especially, his companies, his branding, estimated at over $1 billion. I think it's over 2. Could make a whole app for creators by creators, kind of like the concept of Tidal, like how that is or was supposed to be, but just make it as for content creators where they're getting half of whatever revenue they're generating, and then it puts the power back in the hands of people that do this, and don't make it public, because that's the problem. Everybody wants to get 100 like 1,000 whatever it is 200,000 shares of their own company, and then make it IPO, so that way whatever the IPO price is, they get the value of that times whatever their shares are, to get their net worth to jump. Like, people become billionaires just like that once the IPO happens. And that's what everybody does. They always make a company, then they want to go IPO so they could get that quick payday, and then don't care about what happens to the company. It gets bought up by all of the other institutional investors, and now you have a company that you solely owned one day, you IPO, and now you own 10% of it.
Yeah.
And then now you have no say anymore. There's 90% ownership at other places, and you got to listen to that 90% ownership anytime you want to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody needs to make a private company that really does the YouTube. Because what does Twitch do that's so amazing? Nothing. They don't do anything
and the thing
extravagant.
Is too,
it's a streaming site.
And we said this before. I don't know if we said it on the pod, but like the thing is too, unfortunately, maybe you could reveal later, but these companies have to be like faceless, because I feel like for some reason, like, people are less likely to contribute to something if they find out like, oh, Kanye made this app. But if he just made Twitch and it came out of nowhere, like how Twitch came out of nowhere, nobody would know that it was him. I feel like now he could say, hey guys, this was me though. I mean, Snoops will find out probably, because Kanye has stands. Like, I mean, he could do an LLC and like get a whole LLC. But even now, like, people could look up who owns the LLC, right?
You could. I mean, the best way to do it is to like, you can make a ton of different shells. Like, the easiest way to do it is if you make it. I mean, like, the obvious way that people find people is because they'll make an LLC, and then the LLC will own the company, and it's like, that's too easy, because you can just,
especially when, like I said, Kanye has, a lot of his fans are crazy, so they'll be on every move.
But you can do like a LLC, then the LP owns the LLC, and then a C corp owns the LP that owns the LLC, and then it becomes multiple levels of, like, you have to try to find those documents, and then not have them necessarily even in your name, or you can have them in your name, or you could have it like linked to an estate. Like, you can do a bunch of different things to hide your your stuff. Like, I just saw the other day, like, an LLC that Derek Jeter owns is selling a house in New York. His name's not on it, but an LLC associated with him is. But even that doesn't mean anything, because that could just be a real estate investment LLC that he has to buy property. So it's like, you can't really necessarily even tell. You could shake things up that way, but somebody needs to do that, because
that's the only way.
Too much power in any one place is not good.
Yeah, and like, it's only like, that's the thing. But time is only gonna, is like, I feel like it's gonna be a collapse, because like we're in this new age of what we're in now. Like, with streaming, with brand deals. This is all like new in the past like 10 years, honestly, with social media and everything and streaming. Like, it's only going to get worse, because people are going to get more greedy, and artists are going to realize, this is not good. I hope they realize. And that's what the girl was saying today in the barbershop. I keep going to the barbershop, the hair salon. For you guys listening, I got my hair done today, and I was telling Alex earlier that there was a woman in the hair salon today, and she, at first I was eavesdropping because she was talking to the owner of the shop, but she's a dancer, and she's danced all around the world. Like she said, she was in London at shows. Like she was at the Lovers and Friends Festival in Vegas. Like it was not like that. That's like throwback. She talked about like she had an opportunity to dance with Beyonce, but she said she declined because she said like she doesn't really align with Beyonce's views. Like she's one of those people who's really into that whole like stuff is weird and demonic. She had opportunity to dance with Madonna, but the same reason she declined because she said she doesn't really like how she gets down. But she's danced with like Missy Elliott, Sean Paul. She said Cardi. So like I'm gonna look her up and see if I can see her in the background. Like if she's black, she has a nose ring. That's probably not useful. But right now she has long dreads, like reddish, like ginger color or so. We'll see if maybe she had that hairstyle in a recent thing. But she's pregnant though. But the guy that she's pregnant by, her boyfriend, she said is Young Dolph's was his producer. So she was just getting into like the whole, being creeped out by like what Kanye was saying because she knows it's true, and she was saying how like, but Takeoff dying, like that's why she was saying something about like Cardi, like she probably won't be able to. Cardi's probably canceling something that she was gonna be dancing for because she thinks, because Offset, and she was talking about like stuff like that, like going on tour and everything. So, she was getting into how, that's the thing. Like people want to call Kanye crazy, and that's what she was saying. But she was like, maybe you should actually listen to people who are actually in this life, And she was saying, I'm not really in that life because I'm a dancer, but I, dating somebody who's a producer and still being in those rooms and being in those spaces and being at those parties, you see things and you hear things. And she was like, those contracts, like she's seen some. She's like, they're bad. Like she's like, they're bad. And she's like, people really do be signing these. And she was like it's crazy. The things that people sign, they're like when you really read it, the type of stuff that they're signing away, like it's so sad. Or people just keep getting pulled into it. And like I said, I think it's only gonna get worse. And I feel like it's gonna be a big explosion because we're seeing it already, right? Like artists every day are coming out fighting about stuff. Meg, every other day there's some artists making headlines about fighting with somebody about their contract. Glorilla was fighting. It's like. It's gonna get bad because
people gotta stop signing stuff just for the sake of saying that they're signed.
Yeah, I'm signed.
Being signed isn't a flex.
It isn't. Like you're basically saying that I'm a slave to Atlantic. I'm a slave to what's the other ones?
What it really means? Well, because it's a contract for you to like. It's no different than a than a plumber coming to your house to fix your pipes. It's no different than you. Than a contract with somebody that should come and mow your lawn. Like they're all the same. It's not, the labels aren't an ATM. You're not gonna come here, I'm gonna give you $1 million just for fun. Just so you could say you're signed.
That's like the crazy part. That's why I don't get why people get so mad. Like first of all, you knew what you signed, or you should have known. Second of all, they gave you all this money. When they want their money back times 10.
Yeah, they're paying you. Take this money to build because that's what the money's really for. Those advances
to build your brand, right?
Yeah, for you to build your brand.
Buy your chain if you need to. Get your butt done if you need to.
Buy a car if you need to. Buy the house so you can do the different lifestyle to get you more promoted. Get your teeth fixed so you can be more presentable. That's what it's for. It's a loan to be able to reinvest in yourself to make them more money.
Yeah, like an
and
image.
You're signing album deals, so you got to sign a deal for 3 albums, 4 albums. The reason why you see a lot of the trap rappers put out so much music is not because they want to.
They're in worse deals probably.
They're in the worst deals.
A lot of those people that come from like the drill trap music,
they're not
poor.
They're not familiar with these contracts.
Yeah, they're not familiar and they're mad poor.
Contract.
So they just see money. They see I'm about to be signed. They see the money and they think they made it.
And they get the money.
Yeah, they do.
They'll get the check. But the thing is, you're gonna have to produce 9 albums before you're out of this deal. You know how crazy 9 albums is.
And then you're also gonna see how much money that you made and how much money you actually getting.
Like people think that Drake is putting out all these albums all of a sudden for no reason. It's because he just signed a deal for like $500 million, I think.
Yeah.
And that's obviously going to come with X amount of albums. Yeah. And he just realistically dropped 3 quickly.
Yeah.
He dropped CLB, Her Loss, and Honestly Nevermind really quickly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That fulfilled 3 albums very quickly. I don't know what his deal is. Yeah, and I don't know what his deal is, but that's the same reason why he made it. If you're reading this, it's too late. Mm-hmm. That was at the labels.
Yeah, and the music's not horrible, but it's probably not the body of work that he wants. Like you could tell when he puts out what he wants. Like
yeah, for sure.
missed. You know, I'm sure he's been working on an album right now, whatever his next big album is.
And he's afforded himself like the ability to not. You know, he's been on number one for so long.
And that's like the crazy part, though. It's like he don't need to do this either. But
he does, but that
500 million is crazy. Yeah. I don't
ridiculous.
think anybody's ever gotten a deal like that.
And it probably should be more. It probably should be more.
It should be more. Because he makes these people money.
He's the only reason why other artists are able to get paid.
Yeah.
Keeping the lights on at Universal.
But that's like the crazy part, because it all narrows down to 500 million is crazy, but what he should be getting is even crazier. Yeah. And if he was in control and in power, he would have all that to pocket, you know. Like, and he's at that point where he don't really even need that. Like, you got the money probably in your pocket that you need your advance, you know. Like, people are gonna buy it because it's you. You don't really you don't need label backing anymore.
And the thing is, well, he doesn't have a choice, but I don't really want to get into his contract dealings with.
What Pusha T said?
With Jay Prince and everything.
You talk about the mom ties. Well, let me stop before they pull up. No, because we not messing with them because they killed Takeoff. Allegedly.
Lost my train of thought.
No, cause I was saying he don't need all that, and you saying he does though, because all the
yeah. I was gonna say what rappers should have done is back when SoundCloud era rap was popping off. Mm-hmm. Everybody should have just supported SoundCloud more. Like, everybody took the big deals because Apple has money, so everybody went to Apple, but people don't go to what makes sense. Because the thing is, SoundCloud has never asked anybody to own pieces of their music to distribute it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, but
that's a good point. I don't know
like
why.
You could have, and you can monetize your song, so like, why not use SoundCloud as the distribution platform? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it seems so easy.
Cause what are the labels really doing?
SoundCloud would be getting views, like songs that people have on there that never released officially have
ridiculous.
Millions and millions of views. Like
what are the labels doing for you realistically? Like, even you don't even. It's not even
get them into rooms, or they get them venues.
Like a Instagram DM could get me in a room.
Yeah.
They own the venues. Okay.
Yeah, at this point, labels don't seem like they're needed anymore. Like, in the past, yeah, maybe, but they don't seem like they're needed. But, I mean, I guess labels do still get people certain deals. But like you said, that's what some artists are saying. They're like, you get these deals on your own. Like, if you reach out to these brands on your own, or sometimes they'll reach out to you. Like Fashion Nova is giving everybody a deal. Like, that's not even a flex anymore to have Fashion Nova a deal. But
the labels do have ownership in Live Nation, and Live Nation owns most of the venues in
and they do have, like, favoritism, right? Like, because they have control, they have power, so they're able to say, okay, my artist is going.
But realistically, unfortunately, the Travis situation happened. Yeah. And that was hosted by Live Nation. But realistically, you can do these things on your own. Like, you can hire an event planner to have events and have your own concerts outside or something like that. Like,
at the end of the day, money talks.
And another thing is, Live Nation don't own. I mean, not everybody's selling out stadiums for sure, or arenas, but Live Nation don't own the arenas and they don't own the stadiums. They own the smaller venues, like Terminal 5 is owned by Live Nation.
Yeah. They're just a middleman. So they're able to just get in contact with.
Well, no. Live Nation owns the like, what I'm trying to say is basically Live Nation doesn't own everything. Like, you can still use other venues. It don't have to be like even.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like you can go to NJ Pack. Like, Live Nation don't own NJ Pack. You can go to Prudential Center. You can go to a bunch of different places.
I guess it's just easier when you're signed to a label because, like, all you gotta do is hit that one. Like, you know who to reach out to. Like, you're like, all right, hey, we need this venue. What dates are open? Like, and they got contacts and stuff is booked quickly. Like, if you're doing it on your own, like, you gotta reach out to NJ Pack and find who to reach out to and secure the dates because they're gonna pick label dates over. They're gonna favorite. That's gonna be like the favoritism first pick.
Yeah, but
but money talks and names talk. Like, imagine like somebody like huge, like imagine Beyonce like being completely free from a label. Like, it's Beyonce. Like, why as a venue would you not accept her? Yeah. Just because she's not signed to a label, like, you're not gonna accept that money that she's gonna have to give you, and all that ticket sales money.
Yeah, like the Astro World thing. Live Nation had no impact on that whatsoever. Like, they were responsible for, the security and everything like that. But I mean, in terms of bringing people to an area, it's not the label that's doing that. It's not Live Nation that's doing
artists.
That. I don't care what amount of promo. Travis said he's going to be at this specific spot. We just saw Uzi outside shooting a music video and shut down New York.
You know how many times have happened where somebody say, hey, I'm about to be here, and then the fans pull up like
He shut
instantly.
down a block in New York at like some random time at night. Like
Yeah.
the label has no influence over that. They're not doing nothing for Uzi.
Yeah, like I'm sure all the people who bought Astro World tickets saw the ad from him posting it on his Instagram.
Yeah,
Like it's not like they needed any extra boost.
I don't need any connections. If you go look up a video, Russ is probably the one artist that is transparent about all these things because he's independent, owns all his music, and he funds all his own music. And he broke down in one video how he spent $1 million for his song with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
But he paid that out himself. Like you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
He's selling out
They
arenas
probably
too.
are a little lazy though. Like maybe it's
A little bit.
because like can you imagine? It is kind of easy, like you said, where I'm having the Astro World tour. Everything's done for you. The billboards are set up for you. You don't have to lift a finger. Like everything is gonna be done for you. Like you're gonna have your billboards. You're gonna have like your Times Square billboard. You're gonna have your murals. In, it's in LA. Like you're gonna have stuff done without you having to do anything. Like you might be able to give your ideas on how you want your advertising to look, but usually hire people who know your aesthetic already, so they're already gonna get your aesthetic out.
Yeah, and I don't fall for all the fraudulent fake like, oh, you got your billboard in Times Square. It's like, yeah, but realistically, how many listeners is that gonna bring you? Like,
That I was actually thinking that because there's like a lot of like TikTok artists who are signed to like pretty big labels. Like this one guy, he's signed to Travis Barker's label, and this girl signed to Warner. Sorry, I'm so like congested, but they always like when their music dropped, they always go to New York and like they would take a picture like, oh my god, and they be on the big one, the one that's in the middle, that's like in the where the ball is, and I'm like that's crazy. But like I was thinking, I'm like realistically, like I've been to Times Square millions of times, right? I've never once looked at a billboard and I was like, who is that artist? Let me go look. Like, and I'm sure there's people have done that. Like everybody's different in this world. I'm sure there's people have done it, but realistically, I don't think that really does much. Honestly, I think they just do it for the look. I don't know why a label would spend that much money. I mean, usually the billboards are up a short period of time too, and maybe a day, but sometimes not even a day. Maybe like 30 minutes. Like an hour. But yeah, realistically, like I would love to see the metrics on Times Square billboards because
the money?
people like not the money on how if it actually works. I'm sure it works for some things, but maybe like the Kardashian show. 'Cause remember we saw their billboards all over the place. But realistically, I don't know for music if a picture is making you gonna want to go listen to somebody's music.
Definitely not.
Like even that one girl, her song's called like Telfie. I don't really like it at all, but she had her billboard in Times Square and she was all hype. She was like telling people, that's me. I'm like, if I was looking around Times Square and saw a billboard of it said Telfie, I'm not looking. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Maybe because we're from New York and New Jersey, so it's like the whole Times Square thing doesn't work for us because we've been there millions of times. But I don't know. No. But that's the thing, that's what they sign labels for. Because people want that flex. So it's like, how else are you going to get that on your own? Like, you can, but it's going to cost you a penny. It cost you a little pretty penny if you want that pick, get that pick off.
But the thing is, this costing you either way. Like, either...
That's true. I'm sorry, I'm really thirsty.
Either you're going to pay for it out of pocket or you're going to pay for it in your deal. But either way, you're paying for it. It's coming out your money. Either you're going to sell your songs to recoup it or you're going to pay it out of pocket. But either way... When you pay for it out of pocket, the one thing that they can't have on you is owning a piece of you. Yeah. And a piece of your music forever, in perpetuity.
Because music, the money that they make is a lot.
Yeah, artists probably walks away with 20% of every song that they make. And
the crazy part is a lot of them still are doing decent for themselves. But a lot of them are faking it too, which is kind of obvious, That's what the girl was saying too. Like everything she was saying wasn't really new, but she was like, yeah, like I've been obviously to plenty of parties, like plenty of and been in plenty of rooms. Like the jewelry, last time the jewelry's fake, is rented, the car is rented, the house is rented. I'm like, I know that. She's like, trust me. Like a lot of these rappers that you think have money, some of them probably have less money than like the average person that you know. I was like, huh? Like what? She's like, some of these people like literally don't have nothing. Like these labels have like a lot of like their money, and they're just walking around where like everything that's rented, and like it's just an image that they're like faking.
Yeah. So my 20% number was kind of accurate. So, based on a source that's not very verified, it's saying that the label takes anywhere between 80 and 82% of the the artist money.
I would be mad looking at what I could make. Like that's probably the equivalent to when we see our checks before tax. But the difference is knowing that money is just going to somebody else's pockets because they own you. Like if we see the money's coming out, we're like taxes, whatever. But it's not like our companies are taking a cut from us.
Yeah. So it says
Even though I guess they're paying us less than what they should be, low key. That could be their cut.
Percentage for each album sold is a negotiating point, but typically can fall anywhere between 10 and 20%. Now the problem with that, from a producer standpoint, as somebody that makes beats, is that
they gotta get paid from that 20.
Yeah. And so you're gonna end up with 5. You made half the song, and you're getting 5% of it, which is why producers get jerked.
Yeah.
Like significantly, even though most of the time people care more about the beat than anything. So
exactly. Really, like the beat is what usually sometimes makes a song. Like you have to say, like lots of times people just be listening to the instrument and they hate like the actual lyrics.
Yeah, because to me, what makes this like the lyrics good is if you take those same lyrics and put them on different beats. If it sounds trash, then clearly we know the beat carried it.
Like, come on, March Madness, the lyrics are fire, of course, but like let's really think what makes March Madness is that beat. Like we can't lie. Like it's a combination of both. It's definitely a combination of both. But the beat is such a huge factor of it. Like if those lyrics were in a song, it wouldn't have worked. Like the like and the build up.
How'd it go?
That's what makes the song.
March Madness top 5 for sure. I'm gonna take the acapella and put it on other beats.
People just like that, like
that build up.
Yeah, like it's just that sucks. Like it's really sad actually. Like
it's really sad.
Like people aren't getting what they should or what they deserve. Like it's really messed up.
And it's not necessary anymore. But anyway, that's the whole conversation. We got to stop supporting Adidas and Nike.
Yeah, wait, we got way far from it. Yeah. No, yeah. Adidas is really sick for this, and this is like it's crazy. Like it's gonna be really interesting. Like I said, I'm nervous because I feel like people are still gonna buy, but it's not gonna be as heavy. Like I don't think the stuff is gonna sell out like there was like in 5 minutes. You know, it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be quick sellouts for sure. Because people care too much about what other people think too. Like some people don't care. That's why you got your DHgate crowd who buys fakes, but a lot of people do care. Like the shoe game community. So like if people are saying, if a lot of the people that people think are cool are saying they're not buying the Feezies and that they're fake, like people are not gonna buy them. Like people care too much about what others think. So yeah, we'll see. But it's just this is morally it's crazy. Like if this guy was so bad and so anti-Semitic, like you say, why are you gonna still sell the shoes that still were linked to him? Like if you were such as a moral police, would you just completely rid yourself from everything him? Start scratch? No, because it's fake. It's all fake. Like it's all fake. Even like Jaylen Brown said that about Nike. He's like, oh, Nike cares about ethics now, because when Phil Knight made that interview saying Kyrie and about ethics, he's like, oh, like I like Jaylen. I need a Jaylen jersey too. I'm about to start watching the Celtics.
what brand jersey Jaylen wear?
Nike.
that's the problem.
But that's what people were saying. People were mad at him about that. Like, but you wearing it, like so, like people said the same thing, but it's like it's not like
you don't have a choice.
But Jaylen's not saying and the thing is, it's not like he's like saying he's not messing with Nike, but he's like, oh, like Nike cares about ethics now. Like he's not like he's not like he's a moral police, because he's probably like, well, yeah, okay, I still wear Nike, but he's saying Nike sounds stupid saying that. Like that's why I feel like I hate when people try to like. They try, like when people, it was a whole bunch of white people. Like it's crazy too. It's all the white people that you see talking about Kyrie, Jaylen. You go to their page, they're white, but in their whole bio is Eagles fan, NBA. Like they love the sports, and like their header is like a black Eagles player or a black like Lakers player, and it's like they love the sport and they love watching us like minstrel shows. But the second we get out of line, they're on Twitter ranting, like trying to get us in line and tell us about it. Like it's something that does not sit right with me when I go to their pages. Like literally like modern day slavery, but like get in line. But yeah, like people were saying that like oh, you hypocrite, you wear Nike, but Jaylen's not saying that he's gonna stop. He's just saying, oh, we care about ethics, okay. Like he's just calling out. It's not like he's like protesting Nike himself. He's just saying like, oh, Nike cares about ethics now. Like, we care. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, you know?